Everybody for popping on tonight. Obviously, not the way we wanted that game to go. There's a couple things that we had to do to against a very, very good opponent and to make this a game that we could win, and we weren't able to do those tonight. You know, we needed to play great complementary football. We needed our special teams to be an advantage. We needed our offense to protect the ball. And we needed defense to be able to get off the field. And you know what? At times, the defense did a really nice job. But the second quarter was really rough on us. A couple of things that transpired there. We put them in a tough spot. And it just wasn't good enough today. It wasn't good enough for our football team to give us our chance to win. I go back to the first quarter, how even after a long drive, we're able to get the turnover. And then offensively, we take it right down the field and we're rolling. And then we fumble inside the 5-yard line. And we throw another pick later in the first half inside the low red. And those are just things that you can't do if you want to beat good football teams. My hat's off to Western Kentucky. My hat's off to their quarterback. Bailey Zappi played his butt off. I think he's an outstanding quarterback. And, again, he was the difference today. He was outstanding, and we picked a bad day to have a bad day. With that, I'll open up for any questions.
Hey, Mike, obviously a bowl game was at front and center y'all's goals this season. With the 7th loss, y'all lost eligibility for that. What was the conversation like with your team in the locker room, and kind of how you were rationalizing that?
Yeah, the conversation's about like how we're going to go forward right now and sticking together and understanding, like we'll talk about all those things, you know, about the season and about the state, those kind of things. Those are conversations for after the year. Right now, we're worried about what's next. And my job is going to be to keep these guys together and get them ready to go play UTEP next weekend.
Mike, was there any common denominator in the turnovers today in terms of what Jake didn't see or did not see, or were there problems with the routes, or were there different circumstances on each of them?
There were different circumstances on each of them. You know, there were some opportunities that, you know, there's one, there was a tip pass that was intercepted. That's obviously, it's hard to blame that on the quarterback without seeing it. I don't know if the ball was high in the first place or not, so I'll have to wait to see on that one. But there's a couple where there was a miscommunication. And the bottom line is the quarterback position. We trust you with the football. We trust you to take care of the football, play in and play out. And we've got to make sure we're getting our quarterbacks to do that.
And then kind of in the midst of this, I think y'all ended up with 500 total yards of offense or close. Turnovers aside, do you see any bright spots over the past month or so on that side of the ball?
Yeah, of course, there's bright spots, but it's just hard to talk about them because, again, the first quarter was the model. That's what we needed to do. We needed to finish that drive in the box, and then you would have been like, okay, we can do this, and we can win the game. Because at the end of the day, like, those stats, like, they mean very little to me. This is a win business. And, you know, the whole fourth quarter we really spent in a 2-minute mindset. And so you're going to accumulate yards, but we want to accumulate wins.
And then you mentioned what's next, 2 games left on your schedule. What are y'all playing for in the next 2 games, and how do you kind of keep focus?
I don't worry about us keeping focus, Matt. We're playing for the fact that we're competitors. We're playing for the fact that we spend 340 days a year getting prepared for 12 opportunities to play this great game. And we're playing for each other, the fact that we care about each other. If we've done the things right that we talk about in the locker room and built this locker room where guys really care about each other, those aren't issues. They're just not. So I'm not really worried about that. I'm worried about making corrections, and I'm worried about growing. We got 2 more tangible weeks left in the 2021 football season. And we've got growth we need to get done, and we need to make progress. And whether that's making that progress for the seniors because they want to leave it better than they found it in a tangible way, or whether that's for the guys that are coming back and we've got to take another step forward so we can make sure our program's continuing to advance.
In terms of adjustments or things that you need to advance, what will you discuss during this next week in terms of this went well, this did not go well, here's what needs to be tightened up?
Yeah, David, I think I'm going to wait until we watch the film. I mean, there's certainly some things that are in my head right now that we got to do. One is protecting the football. The other one is making sure we can get off the field defensively. And again, like there were some great times where we took the ball away in the second half, where we did a good job defensively, whether it's picking the ball off or creating a fumble and getting on it. But there were too many times in the second quarter where it was a 10-yard gain. It was a 15-yard gain. It was a 10-yard gain. And they just marched right down the field. And we've got to make sure that we're doing everything we can as a coaching staff to put them in the right situations. And then we got to make sure that we've got the people in the game that can get their job done. And again, we know it's a collective effort every snap on defense, and especially when the ball is thrown. We know that coverage and rush work together for better and for worse. And so we got to make sure we're all doing our jobs and doing them at a high level so that we can have the success we want to have on that side of the ball. And then you talk about offensively, like there's some good stuff there. There's some good growth there. But at the end of the day, it's hard to realize it when you fumble on the 5-yard line or when you throw an interception in the end zone. It's hard to be like, oh, wow, we're doing great, because you're not. Your job is to score offensively. And that's what we got to get done. We got to finish those drives.
And then today's rough. You had those couple overtimes losses. What's kind of your confidence level? You mentioned growth, that this program is still growing and that y'all do have that bright future ahead of you that you're hoping for.
Could you ask that one more time, Matt?
It's been a couple tough weeks, and you mentioned growth. What's your confidence level that the program is still growing and y'all have that positive trajectory that you're hoping for?
Gotcha. Yeah, my confidence is really high. All right. Like I look back at the program we took over that was 1-11. And then the first year in 2018, we went 1-7 in the conference. And our average margin of defeat was 21 points. And, like you just mentioned it, like the last 3 weeks prior to today, we beat the defending conference champs. And then in addition to that, we went to overtime twice. So I'd say that's growth. Now we've got to take another step. We got to win those games. And that's what we're working towards. But the way we're recruiting, the players we're bringing in the building, the ones that are playing for us on the field, that's really who my heart breaks for right now is our super seniors, our guys that have poured so much into this. And although they've helped us grow, we're not there today, and we weren't there today. So that's who my heart breaks for. But I appreciate them, and I appreciate how they're continuing to work and fight for us.
What do you see on that? What do you see from guys like, I know we got Elijah coming up here and Shea, folks that have kind of helped you lay that foundation for where you want to be?
Absolutely. Those are two guys that I'm so thankful for every day. Every day I'm thankful for the way they work. I'm thankful for the effort they give in practice. I'm thankful for what they do on game day. We need a team full of Sheas and EGs, and that's what we're working to build, is guys that love the game, love their brothers, and play it the right way. And we're working to get in 11 of those in each phase on the ball. And when we do, I think we'll be able to get the results we want.
Anything else for Coach? All right, Coach, thanks a lot.
Thank y'all.
We'll bring up Shea Baker. All right, Shea, thanks for joining us. We'll throw the floor open for questions for Shea.
Hey, Shea, just kind of work me through where y'all are as an offensive line and how you kind of think the day went on your front in the trenches.
I heard your statistic earlier, 500 yards of offense. We played well, but not good enough. Just did not outscore our opponent, and that's the bottom line. So I can say that we played well all day, but just at the end of it, just not good enough. And that's where we are.
And how does it kind of feel to say that after putting so much work and effort into the program these past couple of years?
Obviously disappointing. Everyone wants to go to a bowl game. I know our coaches do everything they can to put us in the best position to win. I know I do, and I know my brothers do. And so obviously disappointing and upset, but bottom line is we have to grow.
And then Bloom mentioned culture and kind of setting the standard going forward. How important do you view some of the older guys who have been around, like yourself, EG, coming up, to helping reestablish that standard these last couple games?
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Just being one of the older guys who's been around, how important do you see your role in the leadership role of some of these seniors is setting that standard and keeping that standard the last couple games?
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Us older guys, we keep harping to everyone that, you know, we have to love each other, we have to stick together. And our chemistry in the locker room, we do that. We love each other through the wins, through the losses. We stick together, and that's how we'll keep doing it, because that's how you get teams to win, is not by yelling, cussing everyone out, by loving each other, sticking together. And that's what we'll keep doing.
Anything else for Shea? All right, Shea, I appreciate you coming.
Thanks, Shea.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll call up Elijah Garcia. All right, floor is open. We'll take questions for Elijah.
Elijah, you've been here since 2016, your redshirt season, and Rice still has not qualified for a bowl game there. So with today's loss, taking Rice out of contention for bowl eligibility, just how much does that sting, missing out on that in your college career?
I mean, it hurts, man. You know, it hurts. That's why I chose to come back, because I believe in this team and I believe we can get it done. And, you know, we didn't get it done today, and it's painful, but, you know, I love this team no matter what. I love my brothers in the locker room. So, you know, I said I wanted to leave a legacy when I got here. So that's what I'm going to still strive to do these next two games and finish it out right, you know, because guys like myself, guys like Shea, Jordan Myers, just older guys, like they deserve it. So.
And how do you regroup for your final two games to make them memorable and what you want to get out of them?
I mean, just, you know, set an example for the younger guys, just let them know, like, hey, like, there's still work to do. And in life, like, things are not always going to go your way, but it's what matters is the fight you have in you. So just going to try to instill that, you know, while I'm still here and while I'm still playing. Yeah, just do the best I can to lead, honestly.
What did you see from Zappy today and from what the offense is able to do, and how does that rank with some of the other quarterbacks that you played against during your time at Rice?
I mean, he was a good quarterback. You know, he was getting the ball out really fast, and, you know, just dotting us up. So it was kind of it was rough. It was rough today. He played really well, and probably one of the better quarterbacks I've played in my time here at Rice, honestly.
Hey, EG, it seems that you get up here on the highs of highs and the lows of lows. Bloom mentioned growth and the guys coming in. What's your sales pitch to the young guys and the folks on their way, that this program is and still can be what you want it to be?
I mean, one thing that I always say is, like, you know, this whole experience goes by really fast. You know, I've been here 6 years, and one thing I've learned in college football is, like, none of these games are going to be ever given. You know, you have to fight and go take it, you know. So that's something I try to tell the younger guys, like, hey, look, no one's going to lay down. No one's going to pat you on the back and, you know, tell you it's going to be all right. Like, you have to literally go out there, take it from them, and to go win. You know, college football is hard. And that's something I just want to leave, is, like, no matter what, through the highs and lows, I'm still going to fight for this team. And I want the young guys to do the same.
Now, you've seen enough from the next crop of guys. You mentioned your old heads that have been around, but the younger guys, the Josh Piercy's, and they're the Gabe Taylors, Jordan Dunbars. Have you seen kind of the burst from that next wave that gives you confidence that the turn is coming?
Yeah, I've seen some growth, you know, throughout the season. But of course, in college football, like, it's all about development. And, you know, when I was younger, I didn't know as much then as I know now. So it takes time. And I mean, I feel like through the hard times I've been through at Rice, it's really taught me a lot about life and a lot about fighting and just never giving up, you know, because there's a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things. And you got to show up every day, no matter what, and go to work and put your best foot forward. So that's something I always try to do and lead by example by